pretty close. Hyperspatial understanding of energy, they work at the same receptor site, but moving real quick, there's a mushroom in the center, it's stylized, but they're holding mushrooms and the mushroom in the center. So the yogic thing, the Indian thing, before this whole Brahmanism and that whole type of thing, I'm talking about the stuff the black people were doing in the Mahabharata, because Hanuman was a chariot driver. His symbol was on the chariot of Arjuna when he was in the Mahabharata talking to the Bhagavad Gita, talking to Krishna in between in the battlefield of the Mahabharata. If you look at number 7, you can see the brother here sitting down, but what is behind his knowledge is the mushroom, and you can see the mushroom back behind there. Yeah. If you look at number 6, Haru, from where you get the understanding and the knowledge of Haru from the mushroom, Haru stands on the mushroom. Because Haru and the mushroom are one and the same. It gives you the sight and the piercing, fierce eye of God and that understanding. So Haru is standing on the mushroom with the feather of Ma'at, because Ma'at, what I'm talking about is this. We talk about the gods, we talk about spiritualism, we talk about all these things, but all these things fall short. Because they all came after the fall. All the religions came after the fall. The Yoga won't deliver it. The Akan won't deliver it. The voodoo won't deliver it.
DMT enhances the melanin. So
no, DMT is the next phase from melanin. Melanin makes DMT. See, you have to turn melanin to DMT for it to activate. If we turn to the next page, this is the same plateau as when the cows were on the grassland. They call this picture the bee shaman. These are painted on caves back when the Sahara was green. This is called a bee shaman. A shaman is just a spiritual man, but he has mushrooms growing out of his body, and he has a bee for a head, for a face. Because when mushrooms became scarce, you had to then learn how to preserve them, and they preserved them in honey. So this is symbolic of the bee and the mushroom, the hallucinogenic mushroom, and the mushroom. Turn to the back page. You have they're called stereoscopes. I don't know if you've ever seen them at the mall and things like that, where you look at the picture, but there's other information inside the picture. It's the same thing with the hieroglyph. There's other information inside of the picture, but we only see it from the two-dimensional stage because we're working from the paradigm of Plutarch and Budge and all the rest of the folks. Even our scholars, they're not doing first-hand research. They're talking about what they were talking about in the 19th century. Yeah. They're not talking about the new dynamic. They're not talking about going into the mystery and talking with the deities. Ansar exists. Haru exists. When the ayahuasqueros drink ayahuasca in South America, the dynamic of ayahuasca is snakes, in other words, the great snake, jaguars, and black people. When you take ayahuasca, you see black people, snakes, and jaguars. There was a picture that came out called The Emerald Forest, where this little white boy was with his father in South America, and the little boy wandered off, and the Yanomami people saw him and took him. He was a little baby, and he grew up with the Yanomami. Yanomami have what's called yopa yopa. Yopa yopa is where they take this DMT, they load it up in a bamboo tube, they insert it in your nostril, and your friend gets at the other end of the tube and blows it full force into your nostril. It knocks you down. By the time you get up, he can load it up again, so he put it in the other nostril, blow it, and by the time the second one hits you, you're already not in this dimension of this world anymore. But that's where the young boys move from boyhood to manhood, because they lose all of that memory of their boyhood, and they are now the spirit animal that comes to them inside of their DMT trip. But what I want you to do, if you can't see it now, you can see it. You can see it later. But there's other information inside this picture. You have to defocus your eyes, look at the picture, and move it. 5 minutes, okay. Look at this picture later. The bottom 14, these are some of the actual psilocybin mushrooms. I messed up because I squeezed it down a little bit, when I was, after I scanned it, these come from the secret stash of some undisclosed person in the city of Detroit. Just want to show you. And you can see how some of them are already turning blue. But if you see the caps, some are caps, some are in different stages of life. Because I'm not talking about something that I haven't experienced or haven't done. Number 11 is for you. We would have had time, we were going to play Find the Mushroom. Find the mushroom in the picture. But this is this over here, the tray, this tray with food on it, the divine food of the gods. If you can see, they have the mushroom caps on the food of the gods. If you look at the shoulder of, I believe this is Peppers of Annie. If you look at Annie's mummy and you see Anubis, he's actually holding the mushroom, which is secretly put in his shoulder. You can see that. You see the mushroom in the shoulder, in the side of the shoulder. If you turn to the back page, I blew it up a little bit so that you can see it a little better. The last page. Last page, number 13. You can see where Anubis is holding the mushroom. It's stylized in this. I mean, they put little colors on and things like that. But do you see the mushroom? Yeah. What it's saying, what Anubis is saying is that I'm bringing him into the realm of the gods through this mushroom. He's standing there. All that other stuff don't mean nothing. What this was left as a code for you, September 11th, 2004, to understand that the way back, not to this, because you can go see this if you want. You can take 5 grams of psilocybin mushrooms and go and see all these temples. You can see dog-headed people. You can see people with birds' heads. You can see this stuff. You can go back to the comedic dynamic if that's what you want to do, because you can go to temples. You can go to places of learning. See, we've been tricked because of cocaine and crack that all drugs are bad. But we have our drugs or our particular compounds, we call them power plants, that deliver us to the mystery. And we're missing that. We've been missing it for 10,000 years. And none of the other things deal with this dynamic, or if they deal with it, they deal with it at the very highest levels in the last phase, in the last stage, because this is also practice for death. That's why we had such critical things that are done to people in death, because when your brain stops and your heart cuts off, your pineal gland is still experiencing, because the things that keep those compounds out and away from the pineal gland through blood pressure, through the blood-brain barrier, no longer exist. So those compounds, through just gravity, flow back into the pineal gland.
Another Find the Mushroom. That thing in the middle on page 4.
If you flip it, yeah.
Flip it upside down.
Yeah. I just didn't have to go through that one, but that one there too. And
what about this right here?
And behind here is a mushroom too. You have to use the inside with the feather on top. The mushroom is there too. But the thing is that I want to say, look at the stereoscope and get the other information out of that. This class or workshop can go on for days and days and days. But the thing is that it is not about me telling you anything. This is something that is available to all of us. DMT is available. DMT grows in certain grasses. Polaris aquatica. It grows in certain vines. It's all over the place. That you understand how to make a brew out of it. Mushrooms you can grow yourself in the confines of your own home, and nobody has to tell you anything. You can go and grow these things yourself, or you can collect these things yourself, and they are less harmful on you than a cup of coffee. They're non-addicting. In other words, when you really understand and you really start going to these things, you don't even want to do it. I haven't done it in a year because of the responsibility that goes along with it when you really start doing it. Because since 1974, I've been doing it since 1974, 30 years. And I don't want to do it, but I know I have to do it because it conveys the information. And for a long time, they said, don't give this information out because people can go to God themselves. They don't need Jesus. They don't need nobody. You can go straight to God. If you want to see God, go and see Him. Take you a week and $32, grow you some mushrooms, and you can go see God. You can see Osiris. You can see Shango. You You can go see your mama if she's passed on, not disrespectful, but it deals with the dead because you can go to the land of the dead, the underworld. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about something that you can do that you can access your melanin, not talk about your melanin. Oh, I'm highly melanated. My organs are melanated. There's melanin in my ear, melanin in my eye. And with all that, what can you do? Where can you go? You may have a real vivid dream once every 2 years. That dream was so wonderful that, I was doing all these different things. I was flying and all that kind of stuff because all these things, all these techniques were made for the mushroom. The carpets, the mandalas, all are to be viewed and looked at under the influence of the mushrooms. If you saw a movie called The Shadow, there was a portion in it where the guy who was supposed to be the incarnation of Genghis Khan or whatever, he sat before a mandala which was on the rug. And the thing came out and became three-dimensional and started swirling around and stuff like this. Because I'm talking about something that is endogenous to the body. LSD is a synthetic. LSD will give you worldly gigs and pretty lights and sparkly things and stuff will slow down. You'll talk and you'll go, but this doesn't do that. This has its own personality. This will give you temples. It'll tell you how to create machinery, ancient weapons. The pyramid was created. They said, how do you create the pyramid? How did they know? How did they align the blocks? They aligned the blocks because they could see it. They could see it already built. All you got to do is, if I have this piece of paper, I got to line it up with that edge of that table. All I have to do is line it up like that because I can see the table. It's like having a puzzle. And the puzzle is there in 3 dimensions. All you got to do is fill in the blocks. That's a lot of stuff I can say. If you have questions afterwards, please ask me. I mean, you can ask me a few questions now. Can I get a few questions?
There's 9. There's another. You see 9 mushrooms? Did you see the 9?
Probably you're going to be finding mushrooms. It's all mushrooms.
You see the first number 1 upside down? You're sitting on 9 mushrooms.
I'm telling you. Right here. Right here. Yeah. I can go with all that. That's fine, the mushroom. But the thing is, let me say this. The mushrooms are Schedule 1 drug in the United States. They are illegal to have. They have made the compound DMT. It has been taken by the government and made above top secret because they don't want folks, although it's getting out there and things like that because it's all over the internet now. But the thing is, this is our stuff. It's not addictive. It is something that you can do in the privacy of your own home. And thank you very much for being here. I answered a couple questions and we got to get out of here. Yes, ma'am.
The mushrooms. What kind of mushrooms do we have access today? Any mushroom?
No, not any mushroom. You will kill yourself just nothing wrong with any mushroom.
Okay.
Any mushroom it's a certain genus of mushroom. It's called a psilocybin mushroom.
Okay.
It's Stropharia cubensis mushroom. But anybody else right quick? There's a lot more information, but I had to condense it into less than an hour.
Well, in that case, those Muslim domes.
They're mushrooms too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the huts, the African huts. The huts made like that.
Yeah.
There's a book called Food for the Gods. It's all
Food to the gods, yeah. DMT spirit molecule. The Archaic Revival. There's several tapes out on it. But the thing is that this is our stuff. This is our stuff. Any other questions before we head out? Yes.
Is the soma considered melanin?
Soma was a divine drink, and it was originally a mushroom. Then they made a brew out of it later on when the mushroom became scarce because of drying of the continent.
There's 2 somas. There's the plant, and then there's when they talk about in some of the texts where they say man must have soma in him to become king.
Yeah, in the spiritual text.
That's the endogenous DMT as opposed to the exogenous DMT. The internal DMT as opposed to the external DMT. Put them together. We're coming out. See, you have to turn your melanin into DMT for it to activate. If we turn to the next page, this is the same plateau as when the cows were on the grassland. They call this picture the bee shaman. These are painted on caves back when the Sahara was green. This is called the bee shaman. A shaman is just a spiritual man on the chariot of Arjuna when he was in the Mahabharata talking to the Bhagavad Gita, talking to Krishna in between in the battlefield of the Mahabharata. If you look at number 7, you can see the brother here sitting down, but what is behind his knowledge is the mushroom, and you can see the mushroom back behind there.
Yeah.
It's pretty close. Hyperspatial understanding of energy. They work in the same receptor site, but moving real quick, there's a mushroom in the center. It's stylized, but they're holding mushrooms and the mushroom in the center. So the yogic thing, the Indian thing, before this whole Brahmanism and that whole type of thing, I'm talking about the stuff the black people were doing in the Mahabharata, because Hanuman was a chariot driver. His symbol was on this. We talk about the gods, we talk about spiritualism, we talk about all these things, but all these things fall short. Because they all came after the fall. All the religions came after the fall. The yoga won't deliver it. The Akan won't deliver it. The voodoo won't deliver it.
DMT enhances the melanin. So
No, DMT is the next phase from melanin. Melanin makes DMT. If you look at number 6, Haru, from where you get the understanding and the knowledge of Haru from the mushroom, Haru stands on the mushroom. Because Haru and the mushroom are one and the same. It gives you the sight and the piercing, fierce eye of God and that understanding. So Haru is standing on the mushroom with the feather of Ma'at, because Ma'at, what I'm talking about is